I'm at the Paleozoological or Paleontological Museum of China. It's across the street from the zoo on, Xijimenada Street. And the planetarium, I think, is closed. I walked by it off the subway stop for Beijing Zoo, and it didn't look open. The gate was closed. Last night I upgraded my iPhone 5S foolishly to iOS 8. And I waited a few days, but you really have to wait almost a month before the third-party apps get their updates done, because the iPhone is idiot-proof and it won't let you change the native resolution that you're recording video in. The problem with that is if you do what I do and you record, for instance, yesterday I had 10 videos, probably 8 hours of video between them. That would end up filling my phone with 30 gigabytes of data. That's just at 720p in a third-party app. Now, if I tried to record that in the native app at 1080, one video could run, more than that. It gets ridiculous, and the file sizes are too big to A, get off your phone, B, back up on a hard drive, and C, upload to YouTube. So they essentially become useless unless you then reduce them to a lower quality anyway. And you have all the problems of trying to record that in the native app, like the idiot-proof native app won't let you turn, for instance, the lights on and off. So if I'm in a dark museum and I want to focus in on Tibet, it would look like this all the time. Couldn't shine any light on it because stupid soccer moms were turning their lights on accidentally during performances of their kids' chorus recital. Oh my God. So now iPhone shut off that function after their update. I think it was when I had an iPhone 4. So like how many iPhones ago was that? 4, 4S, 5, 5S. Now we're up to 6. 5 iPhones ago, and they still haven't brought back the functionality that they did have in their native camera app. And yet they keep increasing the size and functionality of the camera to the point where on the iPhone 6 Plus it sticks out the back of the camera. I can't believe they put out a camera where it's not flush. It has all this functionality in the camera lens, and then it sticks out the back, and you're going to have your camera, even with the case, it's flush with the case, it's going to get scratched and smudged. So what good is it having a super duper camera if it's not recessed enough that you're going to have it get all smudged and scratched every day? So stupid. Fucking, they need someone like Steve Jobs there to fucking choke people when they think they're going to put a phone out like that. I don't know who lets them get away with that, but they obviously don't have a taskmaster at hand telling them they're fucking idiots when they come out with a design like that. Morons. Real morons. I don't understand. Maybe it's just nobody's doing what I'm doing with an iPhone and using it as their primary means for artistic creation. Maybe I'm the only person in the world doing that. It's possible. 56 nationalities. I've seen 55. I've seen 57 for the ethnic minorities in China. I've been watching on Netflix, sneaky with my VPN, since wouldn't be able to access it. Not because it's blocked, actually, but because Netflix. I don't understand. I'm an American citizen. I don't give a fuck what country I'm in. If I want to watch videos digitally, who cares? So I use a VPN so I could watch stuff when I travel. Paying for the service, it's stupid. Who cares where I physically actually am? I'm resident, So, stupid bullshit. Anyway, I got around it. Slows it down a little bit. But it was a Wild China show from, I think, the Travel Channel or Nat Geo or something, and they go to Yunnan province and they talk about some of these tribes, and then from the exhibit I've seen in Shanghai Museum, I'm familiar with some of the more popular ones like the Miao and the Dai and the Hui and etc. Let's see. The Hani, the Lisu, the Jinu, the Lahu. the Pulan, the Wa, the Dai, the Jingpo. See, if I couldn't turn my light on and off for this, you wouldn't be able to see any of this. Nashi, the Nu, the ethnic Pumi, the Bai, the Lao, the Lopa, the Mamba, the ethnic Yi, the Chiang, ethnic Tibetans, the Pa-Oan, the Tu, Achang, Uyghurs and Tatar, the Tajiks, the Uzbek, the Kyrgyz, the Kazakhs, is that? What is that? The Salar, Dingjiang. That was Fugan. You can see where they're scattered all over China. These are all their products, I guess, they make. Here's some more of them. Iwanki, Dower, Manchu. The Hechin, Korean, Russian, Shipo, Olenchen and Mongolian. The Huai, they're the ones with the white caps that run all the small restaurants. They're one of the two of the Muslim along with the Uyghur. But they've been integrated for about 1,000 years, marrying with the Han, ethnic majority of China. There's the Han, they're the majority. They're basically indistinguishable as a ethnic minority, but the men wear the white caps, women usually wear, I think, some kind of shawl. I went to the Cow Street Mosque here, Nuji Mosque, Yao, Dong, Tujia, Miao. It's the one they mention in the Wild China. Diang, Puyi, Mayonan, Gelu, Shui, Diang, Zhuang, Jing, and the Li. What is it? C? And the Gaoshan. Our ancestors. Let's see. A. afarensis, A. africanus, A. robustus, A. boise, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, archaic, Neanderthal, and modern. Yesterday I spent the whole day walking around the ruined summer palace, the old summer palace, Yuanming, Yuan. What great pride we take in being humans. Lunar landing, steam engines, Dolly. I saw Dolly at Edinburgh's museum there, the National Museum of Scotland. They had her stuffed. This summer. That translation doesn't tell you a whole lot. Biological classification of humans. We belong to the phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, class Mammalian, order Primate, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens, subspecies Sapiens. Closest relatives in the animal kingdom are apes, Human lineage derived from ape lineage about 9 to 5 million years ago. However, no creatures just at the interface between ape and human have ever been found yet, but there is a great number of fossils of great apes dated 8 to 14 million years ago, by which we could infer the body structure of our remote ancestors.
Siva Pithecus. Facial bones. From Pakistan.
Late Miocene, huh? See if I can brighten this up a little. Lufengrithicus. Lufeng. Is that Yunnan province? Lufeng. Skull pieces. You got a mandible there and a skull piece. Dryopithecus. Kelly. Cayuenensis teeth from Cayuen. Same thing. Those are teeth. Eating meat increases our brain size, so does cooking, because we get a lot more nutrition out of what we're eating. Bipedalism, walking upright with an erect posture, key character distinguishing early human from apes. Up to date, the earliest bipedal humans are exclusively found in Africa and fall into two genera, Ardipithecus and Australopithecus. Most of them became extinct, while a group with a shift from use of natural tools, stone or twig, to conceptual manufacture of stone tools about 2.5 million years ago, evolved into Homo habilis, who is the earliest species of the genus Homo recognized at present. Parietal bone of Homo habilis from Tasmania, huh? Tanzania. They spell it with an S, they mean a Z. Sometimes the English translations of place names can be real off. You think they're using like the old system before Pinyin for a lot of this stuff. Australopithecus africanus. Ape man. Modern Homo sapiens. They think that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalis and Homo sapiens sapien mated with each other. They've done those DNA tests that follow the ribosomal DNA, is it? There's some kind of DNA that they can trace maternal ancestral lineage from. They do those tests on people from different continents. Homo erectus, Petrolona, Greece, Mauer, Germany, Homo erectus heidelbergensis, Homo erectus skullcap from Trinidad, Indonesia. They've got Homo erectus skull from Sangkiran, Indonesia. Early Pleistocene. Homo erectus evolved from Homo habilis about 1.8 million years ago. This species displays one of the intermediate evolutionary stages between ape and modern humans, with the skull somewhat ape-like and a postcranial skeleton resembling that of modern humans. Homo erectus was the first human inhabited in Asia and Europe with remarkable geographic variations. So, advanced tool making and hierarchical societies. Homo erectus finds the earliest Homo erectus in China consists of 2 teeth from Yunnan, and a half-broken skull from Lantian, Shanxi. Gosh, it's so hard to pronounce Shanxi and Shanxi. It's a subtle difference between the 2 provinces that are right next to each other. One's got one A, one's got another A. It's like, what? Peking man unearthed that Zhoukoudian is the most famous representative of Homo erectus. Apart from rich human fossils and artifacts, Zhoukoudian also has yielded abundant evidence of fire use. Homo erectus teeth from Yunnan. This is Zhoukoudian, Homo erectus pekinensis. That's Peking man, huh? Is that Peking man? So-called Peking man? Homo erectus pekinensis. Some of the Latin names are still using the old name Peking, huh? For Beijing. I guess it'll always stay that way once they name it. It's kind of the odd thing if you want to change the name. There are all those little implications you didn't think about. Peking duck, they still use that, you know. It's in the name for all these other things besides the proper place name. Early Homo sapiens represents a morphologically intermediate stage between Homo erectus and modern humans. He conquered more habitats in the Old World than his ancestor Homo erectus and varied in morphology geographically. Fossils of this stage have been found at more than 10 sites in China. Early Homo sapiens. Early Homo sapiens. From Germany, Steenheim. Homo sapiens, Neanderthalis. Where's that from? La Chapelle aux Saints, France. Dinkan, Shanxi, Middle Pleistocene, early Homo sapien teeth. I got some bronze models here of what they may have looked like. Burying the dead. Cinnabar looks like they're using there for the red. Covering the body maybe. Late Homo sapiens, anatomically modern humans. Abundant fossils of late Homo sapiens have been found at over 40 sites in China during the last glacial era, about 70,000 to 10,000 years ago. Vast ice sheets locked up enormous amounts of water, lowering sea levels so far below their present depths. Therefore, land bridges were formed between Asia and America and in Southeast Asia as well. These land bridges paved the way for Asian humans migrating to Americas and Australia. Late Homo sapiens, Jiang, Sichuan, late Homo sapiens, Cro-Magnon, France. Late Homo sapiens, Upper Cave, Tiananmen-eas, Beijing. Late Homo sapiens, Minatagawa, Japan. Late Homo sapiens, Dodushian, Beijing. I went to the Wang Fujing Paleozoological site in the basement of the Oriental Plaza Mall here in town. Goes back to 25,000 BC or something ridiculous. They found it when they were excavating for the mall. This shows our route out of Africa, huh? I guess is the idea. Can flip switches. Origin of modern humans, hypothesis 1. What's the first hypothesis? Dispersal of Homo erectus. That's Homo erectus there. Distribution of Australopithecine and Homo habilis. It never got out of Africa. Common features of Homo erectus and Homo sapiens, morphological mosaic indicating gradual transition between these species, and a few evidence of gene flow from west suggests a model of human evolution in China, continuity with hybridization. Skull from Liu Jiang, Homo sapiens. Skull from Upper Cave. Some teeth. Chinese fossil. Human exhibit. Series of common morphological features. For example, a low and flat face, flat nasal saddle, quadrangle orbit, curved contour of the lower border of the bone of the cheek region, and shovel-shaped upper and incisor teeth. The casts display these features. Skull of the Hessian, showing some features usually found in Homo sapiens. Showing the small, similar degree of post-orbital construction as Homo erectus. Skull from the Dali, showing the area between the anterior opening and nasal cavity and the orbit bulging. Parietal, temporal, and occipital from Xu Jia Yao. Looks like it's Peking man. Skull is usually thinner on Homo sapiens than earlier proto-humans. Several Chinese fossils bear some exotic features typical for Neanderthal lineage, which suggest the gene flow from the west and can be recognized in the cast displayed here. Showing similar thickness of brow ridges of skull from Dali here, and angular junction between posterior and nasal between posterior and an angular junction between the posterior and basal surfaces of the skull as that in Homo erectus. Skull from Liu Jiang, late Homo sapiens, bun-like structure at the top posterior part of the skull. So is true with the skulls of Jijiang and Lijiang. Skull from Mabi, early Homo sapiens, showing round orbit. Skull from Upper Cave, showing the anterior-lateral surface of the front process of the malar bone facing laterally. The zygoid process, I guess that would be. It's the zygoid process. Comparison between skulls of Peking man, Homo erectus, and that from La Chapelle-au-Centre, Homo neanderthalis. Two skulls embody two different evolutionary trends in Eastern Asia and Western Europe, respectively. Reconstruction of the Peking man skull. Stupid monkey. You stupid monkey. Hessian. Homo erectus, showing some features usually found in Homo sapiens. They are short and wide skull cap, weak post orbital constricture and convex upper border of the temporal squama. Skull of Maba early human, showing similar degrees of post-orbital constriction such as Homo erectus. Skull from Dali, early Homo sapiens, showing the area between anterior opening and nasal cavity and the orbit bulging. And it's odd, it's kind of like phrenology. You know, phrenology's been debunked, but this is basically phrenology. You can call it morphology. The thing about it is, if you're comparing two different species, I guess you could say it's a valid comparison between differences, but within the same species, those variations in the skull, unless they're rather grotesque, aren't going to tell you anything about the person's, IQ or predilections towards crime or deviancy or whatever. If someone had a huge fucking bulge on their head, you'd say it's probably a tumor, right? There'd be some correlation between somebody having a hole smashed in their head or something, But small little variations in the size and shape of the head between the human species, I don't think they've thoroughly debunked. Peking man, Homo erectus, Jokudian site, Beijing. Changzhou man, late Homo sapiens, Guangxi province. Upper caveman, late Homo sapiens, Jokudian site, Beijing. Some teeth here. Huang Long caveman, late Homo sapien, Shanxi County, Xi'an, Hebei province. Peking man, Homo erectus, Maba man, from Guangdong, early Homo sapien. Upper caveman, late Homo sapien, locality, the upper cave site of Jokudian, Beijing. They're shown here. Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens. So basically you have three type of people in the world. Mongoloid. Was I listening to some radio show one time? They were saying stupid stuff like Howard Stern does to try to get people riled up, calling a show. And they're talking about the different types of people in the world. And then some guy with this heavy New York accent calls in and he's like, yeah, I'll clear it up for you. He's like, basically you got Mongoloid, and they're from this area. And then you got Caucasoid, and they're from this area. And then you got, I don't know what it was, Negroid, they're from this area. And they're like, oh, okay, thanks. He's like, yeah, no problem. And he hangs up. I'm like, oh, thanks for that expert opinion. Let's see, this is from Holocene. Dawanku Shandong. Late Homo sapiens, huh? March to civilization with the development of late Homo sapiens. The unprecedented prosperity of prehistoric culture occurred in the history of humankind. Humans began to employ sophisticated techniques to make stone tools, bow, needle, harpoon, bow, and arrow, etc. They constructed better house and initiated the arts, which constituted the foundation for modern civilization. Then with the emergence of agriculture at about 10,000 years BP, group settlement came into being, and humans began to make polished stone tool and earthenware, then metal implements. Thus, step by step, humans stepped out of primitive age and marched into the era of civilization. and we start painting up all the caves in Europe, in Africa, and Asia, America. And eventually we colonize the moon. We live on extraterrestrial. These are all the tools we've been chipping. I always wonder if I got stranded on an island, and if theoretically the island had all the resources I needed to make everything that exists in the world today. It was a big island, say it was Australia. Then how long would it take me to work up from like a wood tool to a stone tool? I'd probably have to take the wood tool, kill a animal, take the antler, flint knap, make some stone tools, then use those stone tools to dig and get some metal ore. Then I'd have to refine that metal ore, chop a lot of wood, cook it up, make some metal tools. Then I could make some bronze tools maybe with the soft metal I dig up. And I could use those bronze tools and dig up some iron, make some iron tools, right? Then I got my iron tools, right? Now I'm ready to go. Now I got my iron tools, now I got to start working on powering those tools to do work so I can start looking for oil and natural gas and find some of that stuff. Then I gotta have to invent like all sorts of peripheral stuff like glass and plastics, right? That's gonna be a problem. And I'm gonna have to have divisions of labor, so I'm probably gonna need some help. So I'm probably gonna have to sex somebody up, make some children. Then we're gonna have to worry about agriculture that whole time so I can feed myself, because I'm probably gonna have to stay in one place. I can't be on the move all the time if I'm trying to mine ore, right? So that means I'm gonna have to domesticate some animals probably to help me with the field work. And of course the kids are gonna help out in the field too. I'm going to have to worry all sorts of stuff like, protection from the weather and feeding the animals, making sure people don't steal my food. There was some science show where I think the British guy tried to make a toaster from scratch, go to the mine the plastic, get the metal, blah, blah. Do as many of the steps that he could and within reason to make the natural materials and put them together. And when he turned it on, it worked for a second and sparked and died. The toaster. So now we're in the Paleozoological from, I guess, the Paleontological. Introduction. You got a little poem here, huh? Long has been the earth history, countless have been the changes between land and sea, numerous species of organisms once lived on earth, how many of them still hang around with mirth? Ugh. Most wonderful Chinese vertebrate fossils collected over the last 100 years, from Cambrian fish to giant dinosaur, from Triassic mammal-like reptiles to large Ice Age mammals that became extinct only a few thousand years ago. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Stromatolites. I saw some fossils of these up at Glacier National Park, but the famous area they're from is in Australia, where I think they're actually still growing in a shallow, warm sea. So we got ammonites, ginkgo, fight leaf, feather fossils, dinosaur eggs. So feathers are modified scales from the reptiles, right? Hyena coprolite, that's fossilized poop. mammalian antler fossils. Evolution of vertebrates, right? So let's go way back here to the Precambrian Sea, Cambrian explosion. This is 460 million, 4.6 billion years ago to 541 million years ago. You've got the Precambrian period and the Cambrian explosion of life gets going, and you have the sea, all the sea life, right? And that brings us up to Ordovician, first armored fish. Life gets crazy in the sea. Through to the Silurian, emergence of the first jawed fish, radiated and jawless fish. And we're up to, I skipped over the Cambrian explosion. There's the Cambrian explosion of life. I mentioned it at least, right? Silurian period, we mentioned. Devonian, radiation of early jawed fish, decline of jawless fishes, the emergence of tetrapod. Carboniferous, radiation of amphibian and emergence of amniotes, so first life on land after the continents stabilize, somewhat. Let's see. That brings us up to Cretaceous. No, we're going this way. Permian, rise of mammal-like reptiles. Mammal-like reptiles? What's that mean? Emergence of first dinosaur and first mammal, Triassic, little shrew-like creature. For the mammals, dinosaurs are all big. Jurassic, dinosaurs blossom, emergence of birds, Archaeopteryx, and all that. Cretaceous, fall of the dinosaurs, rise of placental mammals. Good for us. Paleogene and Neogene. 66 to 2.6 million years ago. Flourishing of birds and mammals and emergence of apes. Quaternary period is 2.59 million years ago to present. Extinction of many giant mammals and emergence of human beings. Charismatic megafauna. Saber-toothed cat. Woolly mammoth. And one of the human fossilized bones of bats, which are mammals, flying mammals. Male bone fossils preserved in sinter. It's ash, I guess. How do fossils form? Soft parts are eaten and decomposed by scavengers, insects, bacteria in a few weeks. Bones and teeth buried by sand and mud after millions of years of compaction. The sand and mud turned into layers of rock, and the dinosaur skeletons became fossils. With the erosion of the rocks, the fossils are exposed and collected, and studies of these fossils help decipher the history of life. Petrified wood, permineralization. It's a process for petrification. Mammal bone found near cave deposit. Dinosaur skull, trilobite fossil, plant fossil. The Chengjiang biota. Cambrian explosion. 530 million years ago, today's Maotianshan area of Yunnan province, China, was covered by a warm and shallow sea, in which the famous biota, the Chengjiang biota, in which lived the famous biota. Chengjiang biota represents the most diverse early Cambrian fossil assemblage in the world, including more than 10 groups of organisms such as algae, poriferans, coelenterids, priapulid, lobopod, arthropod, about 40% of the total species number, brachiopods, so arthropods in the greatest number, Brachipod, echinoderm, echinoderm, and vertebrates. Rare glimpse of the Cambrian explosion at its fullest. Creatures usually represented by exquisitely preserved fossils, among them the haiku, the haiku ichthyes, most attractive, which documents the first occurrence of vertebrates on Earth. Haikuella. Emergence of the backbone. Major events in vertebrate evolution. Emergence of backbone marked the first milestone in the long history of vertebrate evolution, be they fishes swimming in water, birds flying in the sky, or turtles, snakes, tigers, and elephants wandering on land, and be it a 8mm tiny frog or a 30-meter blue whale. All vertebrates share a common feature, a vertebral column inside that supports their body, making them stronger. This started about 530 million years ago in the shallow Cambrian Sea in southwest China. Fishes such as Mylocunmingia and haiku ichthyes developed primitive backbones, marching toward ever more structural complexities and adapting to increasingly more diverse ecological niches. Shuyu Zhejiangensis, Guy, and others, 2011, the fish that sheds light on the origin of jawed vertebrates. Team of Chinese, English, French scientists featured on the cover 2008, August 18, 2011 issue of the journal Nature, unraveling the mystery of the origin of vertebrate jaws using the most advanced synchrotron radiation X-ray tomography and technology of 3D virtual reconstruction. Dr. Jikun Gai from the Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology and Paleoanthropology reconstructed the 3D virtual endocasta Shuyu, a project that took him 5 years to complete. The result is consistent with the developmental model of jaw evolution. Shuyu probably represents a critical intermediate link in the evolution of jaw. In 2013, the study on Shuyu entered into the textbook History of Life and was the cover story of the New Scientist magazine. Shuyu is regarded as an important missing link in evolution of life, just as Tiktaalik, Archaeopteryx, and Homo floresiensis. It looks like they're missing an N in that name. Floresiensis, I should mention. Yunnan. Laxaspis. That's what it looked like. Hemiclapsis. Agnathans, the fishes without jaws. Agnatha, or jawless fishes, were the earliest vertebrates on Earth without jaws. Their disc-like mouths were inefficient and thus lived parasitic or filtering lives. They first appeared in the early Cambrian about 530 million years ago, flourished in the Silurian and Devonian, but suddenly declined in the late Devonian. Agnathans include the extant hagfishes and lampreys, as well as the extinct ostracoderms, armored fishes. Ostracoderms are a diversified group during the Silurian and Devonian, including Astrapeda, Osteostraci, Galaspeda, Heterostraci, Anaspeda, Thelodonti, and Pteraspeda. They are totally different from the extant hagfishes and lampreys. Ostracoderms wore heavy, bony head armor, just like the knights of medieval Europe. and were thus named. Extant lampreys. Dinichthyids. Dunkleosteus was the most prominent member of Dinichthyids. In placoderms, it was up to 30 feet long and possibly weighed as much as 4 tons. Larger than most other creatures alive at the time, its huge jaws opened so quickly that they created a suction force that sucked prey in its mouth. The closing of its jaws was just as fearsome. Its bite was so powerful that it could snap a prehistoric shark and cut it in its two halves with its razor-sharp jawbones. And yet, Dunkleosteus did not have teeth. Instead, the edges of their jawbones kept sharpened by rubbing against each other like self-sharpening scissors. Dunkleosteus was possibly the fiercest and most terrifying creature alive in the oceans of the Devonian. Placoderms, the earliest jawed vertebrates. Placoderms may be the most primitive jawed vertebrates. They first appeared in Silurian, then dominated the waters in Devonian, but became extinct by the end of the Devonian. Placoderms were enclosed by thick bony plates in the head and thorax, and hence the name. Although their superficial appearance was similar to the jawless armored fishes, the latter had only one nostril and have neither jaws nor paired fins. In sharp contrast, placoderms already had upper and lower jaws as well as paired fins and paired nostrils. Placoderms include arthrodires, antiarchs, petalichthyids, ptyctodontids, and others, with arthrodires being the most dominant in the Devonian seas. The arthrodires were formidable predators, best exemplified by the ocean overlord Dunkleosteus, which had a body length up to 10 meters and supposedly may have preyed on sharks. They look like those large fish that are like real deep down in the, what is the sphere that the underwater, the blastosphere or something, so deep underwater. Placoderm. Ooh, kitty, kitty, kitty. Major events in vertebrate evolution: the emergence of jaws. Da-dum. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. It's hard to imagine life without jaws. Giant killer sharks, carnivorous dinosaurs, saber-toothed tigers, and that talkative neighbor just would not be the same without them. The acquisition of jaws is perhaps the most profound and radical evolutionary step in craniate history after the development of the head itself. J.G. Mazie, 1996. The acquisition of jaws in vertebrates dates back to the Silurian, more than 400 million years ago, which marks the beginning of transition from passive filter feeding to active predatory lifestyles. The possession of jaws has greatly enhanced vertebrates' feeding capability and adaptability. Consequently, the jawed vertebrates have since radiated rapidly to fill much broader ecological niches and evolved into major extant vertebrate groups, including ourselves, accounting for more than 99.8% of the total number of modern vertebrates. The hagfish and the lamprey are the only two surviving jawless vertebrate groups. The hagfish and the lamprey, huh? Saber-toothed tiger, big old dinosaur, and white shark. Great white shark. Cemetery for placoderms. Big old fish. Entelognathus primordialis. Entelognathus. New fossil fish from 2013. Because human face bones first appeared in this old fish in vertebrate evolution, scientists call it the old fish with a new face. Missing link between placoderms and osteichthyans. Origins of the jaw. Sheds new light on the origins of the jaw, huh? Restoration. Sculptural restoration of Bathyrolepsis. Diversification of jawed vertebrates. Shark, acathodians, placoderms. All placoderms became extinct in the late Devonian, but major groups of gnathostomes have differentiated from these earliest jawed vertebrates, including the extinct acathodians, the extant chondrichthyans, actinopterygians, and sarcopterygians, accounting for more than 99.8% of vertebrate diversity. In the view of cladistics, all terrestrial vertebrates, including human beings, are members of the sarcopterygi, lobe-finned fishes. Interesting. Osteichthyes, branch off here. You got the placoderm grade fishes down there, skull, paired in girdles made of large bony plates. Then we branch off Osteichthyes, bony skull, paired fin, girdles retained, refined. Acanthodians, grade fishes, bone content of skull and fin girdles progressively lost. They branch off living actinopterygians and living chondrichthyans. Shark rays and rat fishes, chondrichthyans. So that's like the cartilage based, body. Ray finned fishes, actinopterygians. These are all the bony fish, including a weedy sea dragon here, or leafy sea dragon. You got all the mammals on this side, tetrapods. Chondrichthyans and acathodians, fishes with a sparse fossil record. Ray-finned fish. Living jawed vertebrates include two groups, cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. Yeah, I was right. There are more than 1,000 living species of cartilaginous fish, including the great white shark and the dwarf lantern shark, as its name suggests. The cartilaginous fish is characterized by unossified external skeleton. Watch my video from the Hangzhou sea life place there, and they do a dive demonstration, and the scuba diver takes the shark and bends it in a circle and makes the tail touch the nose. It's pretty cool. That's what you can do with cartilage. So they don't have much left of the skeleton, just the teeth and scales usually. Like Megalodon, the extinct shark with the huge mouth, all they have the basis size on is the size of the teeth, and corresponding to how big the teeth are on other sharks, they can say how big it was. Theoretical extrapolation there, based on current past fossil record. Acanthodians are an extinct but important group of early jawed vertebrates living from late Ordovician to Permian. They seem to be characterized by a spine in front of each fin. Similar to the chondrichthyans, acanthodians do not have large dermal bones on the head, with only dermal tesserae covering the head. Recent research shows that acanthodians probably represent ancestral chondrichthyans that have partially lost the large dermal bones. And I'm running out of battery power. This is going to be tricky. I brought my big battery back up here, right? So I can stick this guy in here. I thought this might happen because I knew they were probably going to release iOS 8 while I was in China, and I could become hamstrung if I upgrade my new phone, and there's a compatibility issue with my third-party camera app. and I didn't want to have to buy more Mophie jackets for my old iPhone 4S, which is going to become a house phone for storing music and alarm clock stuff pretty soon. Once I switch to the iPhone 6 or 6 Plus for my main phone, that 5S will become this phone that I use for mapping function and unlocked phone in foreign countries. But I think I'll actually just buy the iPhone 6 outright, so I don't have to deal with that hassle. I can put SIMs in either phone, give me a little more flexibility when I travel. So now I gotta hit this button or it won't charge. So now it's charging, and now I should be getting power in this phone too, through both of them. And I think I've got around 6,000 milliamp hours on that, so that's more than enough for a day of video. I'm just concerned about running out of room on this iPhone 4S since it only holds 32, I think I have on it, gigabyte. Might even be 16, not sure. Eugenodontids were shark-like fish that lived from 310 to 250 million years ago, being one of the top predators in ancient seas with a body length of up to 4 meters. They're usually preserved as disarticulated tooth whorls, such as the fossils displayed here. It had been long considered that the tooth whorls were situated at the mandibular symphysis, anterior tip of the lower jaw of the fish, but a recent study suggests that the tooth whorls occupy almost the entire jaw. Should probably start a new video now once I get through the actinopterygians. What do we go into here? The sarco, our fish ancestors. So I'll finish up here and then go into new video. Lobe-fin fishes. Lobe-fin fishes. Actinopterygians, the most diversified fish group. Bony fish, osteichthyes, are divided into two major groups: ray-finned actinopterygians and lobe-finned sarcopterygians. I'll start a new video here, I guess, if it's going to include both of these. Then we can go through some of the dinosaur stuff. Doesn't look like there's too much in here besides these two floors of this hall. But I did see something around the other side coming out that way, so I don't know. I wanted to get up to the Sackler Museum at Peking University today, and also the Great Bell Temple. I'm at the Paleozoological or Paleontological Museum of China. It's across the street from the zoo on, Shijimenada Street. And the planetarium, I think, is closed. I walked by it off the subway stop for Beijing Zoo, and it didn't look open. The gate was closed. Last night I upgraded my iPhone 5S foolishly to iOS 8. And I waited a few days, but you really have to wait almost a month before the third-party apps get their updates done, because the iPhone is idiot-proof and it won't let you change the native resolution that you're recording video in. The problem with that is if you do what I do and you record, for instance, yesterday I had 10 videos, probably 8 hours of video between them. That would end up filling my phone with 30 gigabytes of data. That's just at 720p in a third-party app. Now, if I tried to record that in the native app at 1080, one video could run, more than that. It gets ridiculous, and the file sizes are too big to A, get off your phone, B, back up on a hard drive, and C, upload to YouTube. So they essentially become useless unless you then reduce them to a lower quality anyway. And you have all the problems of trying to record that in the native app, like the idiot-proof native app won't let you turn, for instance, the lights on and off. So if I'm in a dark museum and I want to focus in on Tibet, it would look like this all the time couldn't shine any light on it because stupid soccer moms were turning their lights on accidentally during performances of their kids' chorus recital. Oh my god. So now iPhone shut off that function after their update channel or Nat Geo or something. And they go to Yunnan province and they talk about some of these tribes. And then from the exhibit I've seen in Shanghai Museum, I'm familiar with some of the more popular ones like the Miao and the Dai and the Hui and etc. Let's see, the Hani, the Lisu, the Jinu, the Lahu, the Pulan, the Wa, the Dai, the Jingpo. See, if I couldn't turn my light on and off for this, you wouldn't be able to see any of this. Nashi, the Nu, the ethnic Pumi, the Bai, the Lao, the Lopa, the Mamba, the ethnic Yi, the Chiang, ethnic Tibetans, the Paoan, the Tu, Achang, Uyghurs and Tatar, the Tajiks, the Uzbek, the Kyrgyz, the Kazakhs, is that? What is that? The Salar, Dingjiang. That was Fugan. You can see where they're scattered all over China. These are all their products, I guess, they make. Here's some more of them. Iwanki, Dower, Manchu. The Hichin, Korean, Russian, Shipo, Olenchen and Mongolian. The Huai, they're the ones with the white caps that run all the small restaurants. They're one of the two of the Muslim along with the Uyghur. But they've been integrated for about 1,000 years, marrying with the Han, ethnic majority of China. There's the Han, they're the majority. They're basically indistinguishable as a ethnic minority, but the men wear the white caps, women usually wear, I think, some kind of shawl. I went to the Cow Street Mosque here, Nuji Mosque, Yao, Dong, Tujia, Miao. It's the one they mention in the Wild China. Diang, Puyi, Mayonan, Gelu, Shui, Diang, Zhuang, Jing, and the Li. What is it? C? And the Gaoshan. Our ancestors. Let's see. A. afarensis, A. africanus, A. robustus, A. boise, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, archaic, Neanderthal, and modern. Yesterday I spent the whole day walking around the ruined summer palace, the old summer palace, Yuan. Yuan Ming Yuan. What great pride we take in being humans. Lunar landing, steam engines, Dolly. I saw Dolly at Edinburgh's museum there, the National Museum of Scotland. They had her stuffed. This summer. That translation doesn't tell you a whole lot. Biological classification of humans. We belong to the phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, class Mammalian, order Primate, family Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens, subspecies Sapiens. Closest relatives in the animal kingdom are apes. Human lineage derived from ape lineage about 9 to 5 million years ago. However, no creatures just at the interface between ape and human have ever been found yet, but there is a great number of fossils of great apes dated 8 to 14 million years ago, by which we could infer the body structure of our remote ancestors.
Siva Pithecus. Facial bones. From Pakistan.
Late Miocene, huh? See if I can brighten this up a little. Lufengrithicus. Lufeng. Is that Yunnan province? Lufeng. Skull pieces. I think it was when I had an iPhone 4. So, like, how many iPhones ago was that? 4, 4S, 5, 5S. Now we're up to 6. 5 iPhones ago, and they still haven't brought back the functionality that they did have in their native camera app. And yet they keep increasing the size and functionality of the camera to the point where on the iPhone 6 Plus, it sticks out the back of the camera. I can't believe they put out a camera where it's not flush. It has all this functionality in the camera lens, and then it sticks out the back, and you're going to have your camera, even with the case, it's flush with the case, it's going to get scratched and smudged. So what good is it having a super duper camera if it's not recessed enough that you're going to have it get all smudged and scratched every day? You know, so stupid. Fucking, they need someone like Steve Jobs there to fucking choke people when they think they're going to put a phone out like that. I don't know who lets them get away with that, but they obviously don't have a taskmaster at hand telling them they're fucking idiots when they come out with a design like that. Morons. Real morons. I don't understand. Maybe it's just nobody's doing what I'm doing with an iPhone and using it as their primary means for artistic creation. Maybe I'm the only person in the world doing that. It's possible. 56 nationalities. I've seen 55, I've seen 57 for the ethnic minorities in China. I've been watching on Netflix, sneaky with my VPN, since I wouldn't be able to access it. Not because it's blocked, actually, but because Netflix. I don't understand. I'm an American citizen. I don't give a fuck what country I'm in. If I want to watch videos digitally, who cares? So I use a VPN so I could watch stuff when I travel. Paying for the service, it's stupid. Who cares where I physically actually am? I'm resident, you know? So, stupid bullshit. Anyway, I got around it. Slows it down a little bit. But it was a Wild China show from, I think, the Travel